I wanted to like this show. I was excited about this show. And it let me down so hard. I just can't. Hello and welcome back to the Max Reality. If you've seen my face before, then you know the drill. But if you're new here, I love talking all things reality TV. And today we're talking about Gordan Ramsay's newest show, Food Stars. So if you hadn't heard about it yet, let me give you a little rundown. Food Stars is Gordan Ramsay's newest Fox reality show where he was taking 15 food entrepreneurs, putting them through different challenges, and in the end, he would invest in one of their businesses with $250,000. Each week, the group is split up into smaller teams, and they compete against each other in ridiculous challenges. The team that goes the worst has to go to Gordan Ramsay's dark lair and explain themselves to try to not be the one kicked off the show, and in the end, somebody's kicked off every episode until we get down to the one entrepreneur who's gonna win the $250,000. So when I first hear about this, I think Gordan Ramsay meets Shark Tank. Two of my favorite things are coming together and making a beautiful little love child show that's going to be the best thing I've ever laid eyes on. And wow, I was so very wrong. Before I get into more of the show, let's start off with talking about the different entrepreneurs that Gordan Ramsay has brought before us, the 15 best food entrepreneurs that they could find. First up, we have Aaron. He's the owner of a snow cone and drink shop that he started when he was 18, and he is our youngest contestant at 20 years old. You may recognize him from TikTok, where he has 260,000 followers. Up next, we have Ashley, who owns Happy Grub, squeezable instant pancake mix. Up next, we have Caroline, who owns Pizza Girl, which is a pasta pizza jarred sauce. She also tells us a little fun fact about her, which is she used to party with Paris Hilton. Next up, we have Chanel, who runs a vegan food truck called Vegan AF. Then we have Chris, founder of Smart Cups. It's a plastic cup that they 3D print powder into, you pour it, and it's an energy drink. Up next, we have Elisa, who owns Confetti Cakes, which is a cake kit in a box. Then there's Jake, founder of Pepper, which is a social-based cooking app. Then we have Jordan, who is the head chef and co-owner of Provare, which is an Italian Creole fusion restaurant. Up next, we have Kagan, who owns Kagan Coffee and Crepes. You guessed it, it's a coffee and crepes shop. Up next, we have Luther, owner of Luther Bob's, a fried chicken ghost kitchen. Up next, we have Megan, owner of Bandita, which is a dairy-free horchata cold brew coffee. Then we have Queen, owner of Indulgent S's Spices, which sells different spices and spice blends. Up next, we have Sydney, owner of Toto, which is a plant-based superfood cookie dough. And last, we have Tony, founder of Steak Chips, which is pretty much a beef jerky chip. So going over the cast, we run into our first problem, which is all these people have wildly different skill sets. Some of them have products, some of them have restaurants, some of them cook, some of them don't. One guy has an app. All of these different skill sets makes it hard to have challenges that make any sense. Let's go over some of these challenges, shall we? The first episode, first challenge, is honestly the only one that I thought, yes, this makes sense. This show's gonna be great. I was fooled. For the first challenge, they're split up into 3 different teams, and they have to run a little beach restaurant. They have to come up with the menu, and when they're coming up with the menu, they have a little grocery store, so they have to spend a certain amount of money, and then hopefully make that money back, and the team that has the most profit at the end wins. Makes sense. There's food, there's business, there's enough of them that there's enough different skill sets on each team that you're not sitting there thinking, what is going on? Then we get into episode 2. They're split up into 2 teams and they have to host a charity event. For the charity event, they have to pick a theme, they have to come up with different appetizers, different drinks, and then serve the guests at the party, and at the very end, do a speech talking about why they should give to the charity, and the team that gets the most money donated to the charity is the one that wins. So we're starting to get a little more unhinged. We do have the public speaking, which makes sense, but some of them haven't bartended before, and watching them bartend, hilarious. What does that have to do with being an entrepreneur? We don't need to know. It doesn't matter. And episode 3 is where we just immediately start flying off the rails. For starters, the episode begins and we find out 2 different people are going home. Chanel has to go home for reasons we don't know, and Jordan has to go home because he has to go take care of his restaurant. So bam, we're already down 2 people in the 3rd episode. For this one, they have to blend their own wine, make up a name for it, come up with a whole branding concept, and then build a little basket around it full of goodies, and then try to sell it to a room full of people. Watching these guys try to make a wine blend, hilarious. But I can't fault them. I love wine, but if somebody handed me a bunch of different wines, it was like, make a wine blend that people will like. What? At least we have the branding and the marketing. The public speaking is back in with trying to pitch the basket. And again, whoever has the most people want to buy their basket wins. But the blending of the wine, why not just give them a wine and be like, hey, market this, make it the best you can. That would at least make more sense. Next up, we have a ghost kitchen challenge, which should be up Luther's alley. Luther goes home. But more than anything, it's just because the teams are so unhinged. Again, some of them don't even cook. So having to come up with this menu, it just makes no sense. None of this show makes any sense. But it is great when the challenges happen to line up with one of the entrepreneurs' things they do. Extra funny when somebody goes home on their own type of challenge. Same with MasterChef when it's baking week and the baker goes home. It's really entertaining to watch. But also, what is going on? Then we have episode 5. This is where I was like, we should stop watching this show. But we couldn't. It's like a train wreck. You have to see if it's gonna keep getting more ridiculous. This is their adventure tourism challenge. They have to come up with an outdoor dining adventure experience. So they have to come up with something to do out in this wilderness area that they're at, and also have an outdoor meal. The items they ended up doing were things like axe throwing. None of them were good at throwing axes, and they're sitting there having to pretend to be the authority on it, when it's like, I didn't sign up on this show to throw axes. Another group of them are fishing. It's like, what? He's like, this is to do with your hospitality skills. That's what I'm trying to see from this. But like this? This is when I knew the show was really just lost the train. I was on it and I couldn't get off, so. Episode 7 gives us the social media challenge. Pretty much they end up having to make a TikTok that teaches a recipe, and then Gordan puts their video on a screen and has a group try to recreate the recipe using this TikTok video. Now, I don't know about y'all, but usually the main way I really get a recipe from TikTok is the description. I'm not sitting there watching the video thinking it is going to give me like step-by-step instructions. You got to go to YouTube for something like that. But somehow Gordan thinks this is a good idea. It baffles me. It baffles me. And maybe I'm wrong. This could be somewhere where I'm wrong. Maybe you should be able to watch a 60-second TikTok video and get a full recipe and be entertained and all of that in a 60-second video. I don't expect that from TikTok chefs. As long as they have it in the description, we're good. Make your weird little ASMR chopping sound. I don't care. But at least one team has Aaron, the TikTok kid. They do get the leg up on that one. Episode 7 gives us the coffee shop challenge, where they're split into 2 teams and have to run coffee shops. This works great because 2 of the entrepreneurs that are left have coffee businesses. We have Megan with her horchata cold brew, and then we have Lan with her Vietnamese coffee. However, Megan has never worked as a barista. She just has a coffee business. She's never been behind like a Starbucks bar or anything. So she is expected to run this coffee shop with no experience. We have one coffee shop that decides not to serve anything iced. No iced drinks. You want something cold, get over it. And then we have the other coffee shop that decides to serve nothing savory. You want a bagel? Get over it. Get out. This episode also gives me my favorite line from the whole show. I've repeated it about 1,000 times since this episode aired.
How do we end up with only sweet items and not one savory?
Is a chocolate croissant not savory?
What? Do you have anything between your ears?
Oh, that's savory. Savory salty, sorry.
Episode 8, they're split into 2 teams, and they get told that they're going to be put on QVC Live, selling kitchen products. Not even their own products, just a random air fryer, a random immersion blender. Why? We have one of them that has to be the producer, and then the other 2 who have to be on live TV. And this was probably the most I cringed my body while watching one of the episodes. I was so dismayed for them. I was like, this is just torture. This is Gordan Ramsay. This doesn't make any sense. Episode 9, we only have 4 entrepreneurs left. They have to come together to make this circus dining experience in Las Vegas. They each get a part of the show, one of the acts, and then they have to pair a food and a drink with it. I don't even know what to say about this one. I was already in the space of knowing nothing made sense anymore, so I just accepted it. I watched it like, yeah, circus act, dinner theater show. That makes me know if I need to invest in your business or not. Finally, the finale, episode 10. They actually get to talk about and showcase their own products. Yay! So for this challenge, Gordan Ramsay gives each of them something he wants them to tweak or add to their business. For example, Caroline has the pasta sauce, and he wants her to add a frozen pizza to her business. So they work with somebody who's specialized in that sort of thing to add whatever Gordan wanted to add, and then they have to build a little showroom to showcase their business and talk about it with people off the street. This episode was actually great. It was great seeing them talk about their own products, build up new things for their products. This is what I wanted the entire show to be. But no, they couldn't do that. Like, the rooms they all built were so cool. It really actually showcased what they were good at. Watching them talk about their products, it made me, for the first time, think, oh, maybe one of them could win. Maybe this does make sense. I mean, somebody was going to win no matter what. But before this episode, I didn't know why anyone would win. I knew somebody had to. But it didn't feel like it should happen at multiple points. And that, my friends, is Gordan Ramsay's new show, Food Stars. Usually I would say whether or not I think it deserves a second season if it's a first season show, but my opinion does not matter because it looks like they're already starting a season 2. So, am I gonna watch it? No. For me to watch this show, just so many fundamental things would have to change. Number one, I think they need to pick a lane with the casting. They need to either do all people who have products or all people who have restaurants. That way they can focus and streamline different challenges that actually make sense. Because when they're all just so disjointed in what they do, none of the challenges make sense. And then when one of the challenges favors one of their specialties, it just feels weird. Like, it's so much different than MasterChef when somebody says they're good at fish and then it's fish week. That just doesn't feel the same as this show, if that makes sense. I just overall feel like it needs more of a Shark Tank feel. In general, I wanted to learn more about each of their businesses, what they want to do with the money. We really didn't get a lot of that until the final episode. The final episode really encompasses what the show should have been. The first episode was good, and the final episode was good. And in the middle was a disaster. I almost said a beautiful disaster. It wasn't beautiful. It was just a disaster. Do I recommend watching this? If you like your sanity, no. If you're bored cleaning on a Sunday and want background noise that you'll hopefully just never remember again, yeah, I definitely recommend it. 10 episodes, they go through, you get your bathroom clean. But would I sit down and just watch this with my free time? I would never recommend that to a human person that I liked. And I think that's where I'm going to end it, talking about Food Stars. I'm going to try to forget about this show, honestly. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to try my best. I promise next video is a show that I actually like. Feel like the past two have been downers, not recommend. Next one, it's coming from the heart. If you've made it this far, tell me, did you watch Food Stars? Are you gonna watch it now? If you did watch it, did you like it? Or are you with me and think it needs to be completely revamped if they want to do it again? Let me know all of it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.